This is A. Saladaga discussing to you one of the parts of a conic section, which is an ellipse. An ellipse is a set of all points P in a plane such that the sum of the distances of P from the two fixed points is constant. Each of the fixed points, the F1 and the F2, is called the focus, and together they are called the foci. Referring to the figure, the line segment V1 and V2 through the foci is the major axis, and the perpendicular bisector, the V1 and the V2 of the major axis, is the minor axis. Each end of the major axis, the V1 and the V2, is called the vertex, and the midpoint of the line segment of F1 and F2 is the center of the ellipse. Take note, A is greater than B, or simply say that x-intercept is greater than the y-intercept. So if it happens that your major axis along the x-axis, so your graph is horizontal major axis. Having a formula of x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. But if your major axis along the y-axis, so your graph is vertical major axis. Having a formula of x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared is equal to 1. If your center is at the each k, so you have the formula of the horizontal major axis, which is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. If your major axis is vertical major axis, so your graph is x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. Considering the problem, find the equation of an ellipse with a center at the origin, foci at positive negative 2, 0, and vertices at positive negative 4, 0. Then find the length of the latus rectum, eccentricity, and sketch the graph. So we have given the center which is at the origin. So we have C, 0, 0. We have also our foci, which is our focus 1 is positive 2, 0, and our focus 2 is negative 2, 0. We have also our vertices, so our vertex 1 is positive 4, 0, and our vertex 2, we have negative 4, 0. We have to find the value of C, where C is the distance from the center to each focus. So our focus here is 2. Squaring this, we have 4. And we have also to find the value of A, where A is the distance from each focus to each vertex. So our vertex is 4. Squaring this again, we have 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So we have to find now our major axis, where our major axis is equal to 2a. 2a is the length of our major axis. So substitute, we have 2 times our value of a is 4, so we have 8. If we have our major axis, we have also to find our minor axis, where minor axis is equal to 2b. 2b is the length of our minor axis. So as you can see that we have no value of b, so we have to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. To find b, we have b squared is equal to a squared minus c squared. Substitute, we have the value of a squared, 16, minus the value of c squared is 4. So we have b squared is equal to 12. Taking a square root to eliminate this square, so we have b is equal to square root of 12. Where square root of 12 is equal to 2 square root of 3. Approximately, this is 3.46. So we can now have our minor axis. To substitute, we have 2 times our value of b is 2 square root of 3. And it is equal to 4 square root of 3. Where 4 square root of 3 is equal to 6.93. We can have now our endpoint of minor axis. where our endpoint of minor axis is 0, b, 0, negative b. So we have 0, our value of b is 2 square root of 3, and 0, negative 2 square root of 3. We are asked to find the length of the latus rectum. So we have latus rectum, or LR, is equal to 2b squared over a. Substitute, we have 2 times our value of b squared is 12 over our value of a is 4. So we have 24 over 4. Taking this in half, so we have 12 over 4 and 12 over 4. And it is equal to 3. So we can have now our endpoint of LR. So our endpoint of LR is c b squared over a, negative c b squared over a, negative c negative b squared over a, and c negative b squared over a. So we have our c, which is our focus. So we have 2. And our b squared over a is 3. We have also negative 2, 3. We have negative 2, negative 3. And we have 2, negative 3. We are also asked to find the eccentricity, where eccentricity is equal to c over a. Eccentricity is the amount of roundness of a graph. So take note that eccentricity is greater than 0 and is less than 1. So by substituting, we have the value of c, which is 2, and the value of a, which is 4. So we have 1/2. So our eccentricity is 1/2. We can now sketch our graph. So we have the center at 0, 0. So here. We have also our focus 1, which is 2, 0. And our focus 2, which is negative 2, 0. So here. We have also our vertex. So we have 4, 0. And our vertex 2, which is negative 4, 0. So we have to make 4, 0, negative 2, 0, positive 2, 0, and 4, 0. So we have to locate now our endpoint of minor axis, which is 0, 2 square root of 3, and 0, negative 2 square root of 3. So 2 square root of 3 is equal to 3.46. So we have 0, 2 square root of 3, 3.46. So here, 0, 2 square root of 3. And 0, negative 2 square root of 3. We have also to locate our endpoint of LR, which is 2, 3. So here. And negative 2, 3. We have also negative 2, negative 3. And 2, negative 3. So connect the points of the ellipse. So this graph is horizontal major axis. At center, 0, 0. Let's proceed to problem 2, which is discover the graph of the equation 16x squared plus 9y squared plus 128x plus 112 is equal to 0. Find the foci, the vertices, the length of the latus rectum, and eccentricity. So we have this equation 16x squared plus 9y squared plus 120x plus 112 is equal to 0. As you can see that this equation is in general form. So we have to convert this first into standard form. So first, we have to combine like terms and transpose the constant number into the right side. So we have 16x squared plus 120x plus 9y squared is equal to negative 112. Since that your constant number here is positive, so when you transpose this on the right side, we have the negative sign. Factor 16x squared plus 128x. So we have 16 times x squared plus 8x plus 9y squared is equal to 112. Take a perfect square trinomial or PST by taking 1/2 of squared of the coefficient of x. So we have 16 times x squared plus 8x. So the coefficient of x is 8, so we have to take, 8 times 1/2 squared is equal to 8 over 2 and is equal to 4. Squared is equal to 16. So we have this positive 16 plus 9y squared equal to 112 plus the product of 16 and 16, so we have 256. Then square of binomial, so we have 16 x plus 4 squared plus 9y squared is equal to 144. So divide the whole equation into 1 over 144 to have an equality. So we have this 1 over 144. So we have x plus 4 squared over 9 plus y squared over 16 is equal to 1. This is now a standard form of this equation, and we can see this on a graph that this is a vertical major axis since that RA's lie along the y-axis. And we all know that A is always be greater than B. So we have our HK, which is our center. Our H is positive 4, so we have negative 4 becomes negative 4. And our y is 0, since that we have no value of rk. Given ra squared, which is 16, taking a square root, so we have a is equal to positive negative 4. Given also our b squared, which is 9, taking a square root again, we have b is equal to positive negative 3. And to find our focus, we have this formula, c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. Substitute, we have our value of a squared is equal to 16 minus our b squared is equal to 9. So we have our c squared is equal to 7. Taking the square root, we have our c is equal to positive negative the square root of 7. Approximately, this is 2.65. So to find our vertices, we have each k plus and minus a. So we have our vertex 1, we have 4. We have 4 negative man. So that's I don't know center. So we have our vertex 1, which is our h. So we have negative 4 is equal to k plus square root of 7. So we have the square root of 7. Ay! So we have our vertex 1, which is h. Negative 4. And k, 0 plus 4. So we have positive 4. And our vertex 2, which is negative 4, is equal to negative 4. We have also to find our focus, which is our focus is h, k, plus and minus the square root of a squared minus b squared. So our focus 1 is negative 4, 0 plus the square root of 7. So we have the square root of 7. And our focus 2 is negative 4, negative square root of 7. We have to find our major axis, where our major axis is equal to 2a, and 2a is the length of our major axis. So substitute, we have 2 times our value of a is 4, so we have 8. And we have also to find our minor axis, where our minor axis is equal to 2b. And it is the length of our minor axis. To substitute, we have 2 times our value of b is 3, so we have 6. So we can have now our endpoint of minor axis. Where our endpoint of minor axis is equal to h plus and minus b k. So it becomes negative 1, 0, and negative 7, 0. We are asked to find the latus rectum, the length of our latus rectum. So we have LR is equal to 2b squared over a. Substitute, we have 2 times value of our b squared is 9. So our value of a is 4. So we have 18 over 4. Taking a half, we have 9 over 4. 9 over 4 is equal to 2.25 and 2.25. We can have also our endpoint of LR. So our endpoint of LR is equal to h plus and minus b squared over a c. So we have negative 7, 4, square root of 7, negative 25 over 4, square root of 7. We have negative 7, 4, negative square root of 7, and we have negative 25 over 4, negative square root of 7. So we are also asked to find the eccentricity. Our eccentricity is equal to c over a. Eccentricity is the amount of roundness of a graph. So take note that eccentricity is greater than 0 and is less than 1. So substitute, we have the value of our c, this is square root of 7, over our value of a is 4. So we have the eccentricity is equal to square root of 7 over 4. We can now sketch our graph. So we have the center at negative 4, 0. So we have negative 4, 0, which is our center. And our vertex, our vertices, we have negative 4, 4. We have negative 4 and positive 4. We have also our vertex 2, which is negative 4, negative 4. foci, which is our focus 1, is negative 4 square root of 7. So, negative 4 square root of 7 is 2.65. So, we have 2.65. 2. Focus 2 is negative 4, negative square root of 7. So, negative 4, negative 2.65. This is our our endpoint of minor axis, which is negative 1, 0, negative 7, 0. So we have negative 1, 0, and negative 7, 0. Here. So we can locate now our endpoint of flat circle, which is negative 7, 4. And square root of 7, so negative 7 4 is equal to, so we can locate now our endpoints of LR. So we have negative 7 4 and square root of 7. So negative 7 4 is 1.75. So here 1.75 and square root of 7, which is 2.65. So negative 7 4 square root of 7, and we have negative 25 4 square root of 7. So negative 25 4 is 6.25. So here 6.25 and square root of 7. Negative 25 square root of 7. And we have also our next endpoint of LR, which is negative 7 4, negative square root of 7. So negative 7 4 and also negative 25 4, negative square root of 7. So connect the points.